for instructions as to how they can proceed in terms of picking up their students. We have a news conference with North Shore Fire, and it appears some officials from the school district as well. So let's listen in.
The evacuation to Stritch and from Nicolet. What I can tell you is this morning a suspicious note was found in the F-wing second floor of Nicolet High School. And upon locating the suspicious note and reporting it to police, police did locate 2 suspicious packages inside of Nicolet. One inside a boys' bathroom on the first floor, and one in the F-wing second floor of the building. The Milwaukee Sheriff's Department EOD, or bomb squad, is currently sweeping the building, along with assistance from several of the North Shore police departments. Currently, an evacuation of Nicolet is complete, and all students have been evacuated to Cardinal Stritch and are being bused from Cardinal Stritch to Glen Hills Middle School, which is located at 2600 West Mill Road in Glendale. Really important for parents, do not go to Cardinal Stritch or Nicolet to meet up with your students. Nicolet has a very specific accountability process, and that's taking place at Glen Hills, and that will make their accountability process difficult if you're picking your kids up from an area different than Glen Hills Middle School. At this point, that's the information I have to offer you. Obviously, law enforcement is still active over at Nicolet, and Nicolet's representatives are doing their part to do the reunification over at Glen Hills. And any questions related to that, obviously, I'll defer to Nicolet.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the 2 packages that were found? What did they look like? Were they in backpacks?
At this point, I don't have that information. I just know that there were 2 packages located and that the EOD squad is currently tending to those packages.
Does it look like there was something in the packages that could be dangerous?
I don't have that information. I frankly don't even know what the packages look like.
Both on the second floor?
No, one was located in a first floor boys' bathroom, and one in the F wing of the building on the second floor.
And has school been canceled for the day?
School has been canceled for the day. As was just stated, we do have the students, half the students have already been deployed over to Glen Hills Middle School, so parents need to go over there to pick up. For students that cannot be picked up, our buses will be taking those students home. This is Brenda Turner, Director of Teaching and Learning at Nicolet.
Normal spelling, Brenda Turner?
Correct.
How does this make you feel today? How are you glad, however, you ended?
It makes me feel very proud of all the professionals that we're working with, from the school personnel who went right into emergency lockdown as our procedures call for. As soon as anything suspicious was found, we went into evacuation, working hand in hand with the local authorities, Cardinal Stritch, and the busing company that was able to get buses here quickly. Things went very smoothly. It's great to know that if anything ever did happen, we're very prepared for something like this, but of course we don't want to have to disrupt school in the way that this did today, but it turned out for the best.
Has it ever happened before? Is this the first time?
I'm unsure. This is my first year at Nicolet, so I don't know as far as in the past if it has happened. I know that other school districts have these same sort of incidents that occurs. Most often than not, there's not a tragedy that results, but we always have to make sure that we're taking all precautions and that we're putting the kids first.
How did they seem? How did the students seem?
The students seem fine, absolutely fine. When we first started to transport the kids that were immobile due to crutches or students with special needs, we brought over in our vans. The rest were able to come over through the tunnel. It's a very quick walk. People were in good spirits. There wasn't any type of panicking. I think that we practice for emergencies so often, as most schools do, that the kids seemed very comfortable with going through the process.
How many kids do you have?
We have about just under 1,100 students.
And the suspicious note, did someone discover that? Was it sent to anyone?
At this time, I don't believe that we're releasing that information because we do not want to interfere with any type of investigation that might result.
Are we out of the woods, so to speak, right now? Can anybody answer that? Are you to the point now where the sweep is thorough enough that there's no more threat? Is the threat been eliminated?
My belief is that there's law enforcement still actively going through the building. I'm not going to comment on they've secured the building. Students have been evacuated, and the building's been made safe that way. But obviously, the investigation and the sweep of the building is still ongoing.
Can you explain what resources are being used to sweep the building? Robot, canines, that kind of thing?
Unfortunately, I haven't made contact with the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department EOD, so I don't know what type of resources they currently have deployed in the building.
Do we have any idea yet if this this was a credible threat or a prank?
That information I don't have. Obviously, that'll be forthcoming with the investigation once law enforcement's done.
How was the note discovered? Was it submitted? Was it found somewhere?
I don't have that information. I don't know if Nicolet wants to comment.
I will say that it was found somewhere.
This is like everyday occurrence, it seems now, doesn't it?
Not at Nicolet. And I can't speak for other school districts, but it does seem that these things happen more often than what they used to.
Is there some testing going on today at Nicolet?
There's no school-wide state tests going on at this point. Not for all students. We do have a small section of students that are taking their PSAT today, but that's a very small percentage of our students that chose to take that test.
Did the note indicate where these packages were? Where they were found?
The note was very vague.
Just a vague threat?
Just a vague threat.
Can you kind of walk us through some of the security that is in place every day at Nicolet?
At Nicolet, we do have metal detectors in the building, as well as a front security person in our main entrance. And we also do have people that are in the halls to monitor activity. We have an on-site police liaison officer, as well as our administrators who are out and about in the building.
What time was the note found and who found it?
It was found in the morning.
Was it a student or school personnel?
I'm not going to release that information at this time.
Did the note indicate the packages were there, one connected to the other?
We don't know if they're connected.
We will, obviously, as soon as we have more information from law enforcement and from the school, as far as the reunification and the investigation, obviously law enforcement will, either I will comment on behalf of them or I'll have a law enforcement representative with me to comment. I'll get you all a specific time as soon as I have that, but at this point I don't have that for you.
Do you want parents to come and get their students at this point?
An email notification as well as phone communication has gone out to all parents. If you did not receive that, yes, please, if you are available to pick up your child at Glen Hills Middle School, do so. Don't feel like you have to. They will be bused home.
Have you determined whether you have school tomorrow? Yeah.
We don't know that at this point. I don't see any reason as to why we would not, but we can't answer that question until they're finished doing their sweep of the building.
And then one last thing, I just want to obviously thank Cardinal Stritch for the use of their facilities. I'm sure Nicolet would probably thank them as well. The Radisson currently is the staging point for law enforcement and fire, so thank them for the use of their parking lot. I think the busing service you have.
Yep.
So everybody came together to, and as well as the North Shore Library for providing this backdrop for all of us. We just want to thank them for their help as well.
One more. Did the note prompt a search of the school, and that's when the packages were found?
Correct. The note prompted the emergency lockdown. At that time, we notified the families that were in emergency lockdown. And then when we did our initial sweep of the building, that's when those suspicious packages, I don't want to say suspicious, but the packages were found, and that's what prompted us to go into the evacuation.
At the time of the note, I'm sorry again, was around 9:30, did you say?
In the morning.
All the kids are out of the school now.
They are all out, correct. Most of them are over at Glen Hills Middle School right now. Some buses are coming back to pick up the remaining kids.
Bus from here?
From
Here, they came across the street here.
yes, and their bus. Yes, the bus company sent buses over here, and their bus from here to Glen Hills Middle School.
All right, so we'll have more information for you shortly, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you.
North Shore officials wrapping up a news conference updating the ongoing situation with Nicolet High School that has been evacuated since a couple of hours ago due to a bomb threat. Let's go through the most important details to emerge from that. First and foremost, that the evacuation of Nicolet High School is complete and has been done with no injuries or incidents to report, so everybody is out of Nicolet High School safely. Here is what prompted the evacuation. You just heard officials from Nicolet talking about this. They found some sort of note this morning that indicated a threat. That caused the school to go into lockdown. That's when they called in police and authorities to do a sweep of the building. Upon searching the building, they found two packages. Now, she hesitated to use the term suspicious packages, but I think it would be appropriate here. They found two packages they didn't like, and that prompted this further search. One of the packages discovered in a first-floor bathroom, the other discovered somewhere on the second floor. Since that time, they then evacuated the school. They evacuated students across the freeway, across I-43 there, via a tunnel that goes underneath to Cardinal Stritch University. Guys, if you can take the desktop computer right now, we got in a picture. I believe this may be from a student at Nicolet who sent in a photograph to us of the gathering. One students were there at Cardinal Stritch across the way. They asked all the students to gather in one of the gyms there. And all of the students were able to gather there. We have a picture from inside there that was sent to us, presumably from one of the students, as they were getting further instructions. Their instructions were to take the buses that were parked outside. Those would be taken to Glen Hills Middle School, where parents are now picking up their students. In fact, this is some of the video of those buses arriving. And as we get to that video, let me send it over to